Hello. I'm going to talk to you about something. I've been storing food for some time, but not too long. I mean, I still have a little inexperience in me. A lot of people are starting to do that. They're starting to store their food. Like you, I'm also. I've been doing it for. I'm a beginner, but not a beginner. That makes sense to you? I've been using trials and errors like anybody else, and learning wisdom about things. And here, in front of you here, you see I have two plastic containers. This was a Crane apple juice, and this is a Hawaiian Punch bottle. What I did, people will write to me or leave comments on my videos on storing food, and I tell them, and they tell me that they will open a box of cereal and pour it in a bowl or a cup and pour milk, and voila, there's a dead bug or a dead fly, or there's some cat hair, a pet hair, or human hair inside their cereal, and yucky, and all kind of stuff. And so they asked me, how can you stop this? And some family members, if you live with other families with you, like to leave the box open or the lid open, unclosed. The bag where the cereal is are left open too, or the cereal bag is folded, but the bug or the fly or the hair is still inside the box, and then when you go to pour it, it comes out. So how do you prevent this with cereal? Well, this is what I do. I get the juice bag, a plastic bottle or container, and I wash it with soap and water and take out the smell, the juice and the smell of the juice out. Okay, I take I do likewise with the lid, and I let it air dry like this. The inside, the lid. What I do, I dry the outside with a rag or a paper towel, and I dry the lid up too. But still, I let it air dry next to each other on the table still to make sure that the water inside is taken out and dried, and the smell of the lid, if there's any juice left, will be taken out too. You may have a little residue. That's for safekeeping, safety cautiousness. And voila, it works. Now, I must caution you two things. The lid. Now, sometimes when you see a lid and you've been using it to pour, what I do, once I clean everything and the air dries, I just put cereal inside the containers, and then I close the lid up. Now, bugs don't get into it. No cat hair, nor it's left open where people's hair can get into it, or anything. It's nicely sealed and everything right here. And I can carry it this way. I can carry it this way because it has a handle, it's a Hawaiian Punch. I can pour it into my bowl or my cup. Now, I have a storage room. So what I do in the morning time, I put both bottles on top of the table, the dining room table. As you see before you, this is a dining room table. You see the chair and the table? And what I do is I put it here for about for the morning time to almost the end of the afternoon. When everybody has eaten the cereal, I take it back to the storage room and put it on the shelf. And then next morning I put it back out. That way, the cereal will look terrible on the counter or on the table. Now, what I do once I fill once the bottles are dry and everything's dried up, and I put the cereal inside, I'll be sure to label it. This is Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, and this is labeled Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheat Original. And I put it on the bottle, and I take a scissors and I cut some of the box off, and I just tape it on here. See the tape? You see the tape right there, Scotch tape, and then people will know what it is. Okay, now if you want, you can date it, but now, before you date anything, understand this: I don't date my bottles if it's short-term storage. I mean, short-term storage means that if you're going to eat the cereal in less than a week, in less than a month, these cereals in this family, we have a lot of people in the family here living in the house. These cereals don't last a long time, but some do. some cereals do last a long time. Now, if it's a short-term storage, you don't have to use oxygen absorbers like 300 cc's or 500. 500 cc's may be too strong, but if you want to use it, it's not going to do any harm. It's not going to hurt anything. If anything, it's going to do a good job, a better job. So you could do that to keep the bugs out, to keep the cat hair out. Now, if you leave this a cereal box lid open and a bag open, what's going to happen too? If you have dogs and cats, they jump. They get on top of the counter. For example, a dog may stand up. You know how dogs always stand up on the floor. From the floor, they stand up high, and they put their paws on top of the counter. And they they sniff the box, and sometimes they knock the box cereal over, and they fall to the floor and spill. Or a cat may jump on top of the counter and try to rub his body against the box, or just walk around the box and knock the box of cereal off the counter onto the floor. You never know. Or somebody may leave it open, and you may get bugs or house flies or hair. So it's good to use these bottles to store cereal. Okay? Now, if you're going to be long-term, use oxygen absorber. Now, before you do, understand one thing. There's been talk, and these talks on the internet or on the or whatever, on YouTube, whether to use oxygen absorbers with sugar or cereal with sugar. Now, of course, you know that if it's short-term, no, just because you're going to eat it right away. If it's long-term, that's up to you. That's been tested and retested. You know, if you do it like I do with food stores, you're gonna look up ways to store your food, like I did. I'm an experience. I have not too much experience. Like you, I look up things. I like knowledge, and there are lots of people that are doubtful onto the situation whether to use oxygen absorbers or not on long-term storage. Tea cereal, it has sugary flakes, and here sugary powdered sugar. I mean, on the Frosted Flakes, Frosted Mini Wheat. These are sugar. This sugar here, as you can see here on the flakes, the whiteness of the sugar here is from the Frosted Flakes. So you could ask me if you don't use an oxygen absorber for long-term storage in a plastic box, would it clump up? Well, most people say yes, it would because it's sugar, but some people say no, it won't clump up. Some people do experiments and they say no, if it does, a tiny bit. There's some people who use oxygen absorbers and they put them in the sugar, and in 5 years, the sugar clumps up a tiny bit. You can take your finger and you can poke it and break up the sugar. Some people do experiments and they find out after 5 years. And some people say no, it would get very hard like a rock. So trial and error. What I do is no harm. If it's long term, just put an oxygen absorber. Yes or no, it depends. I really don't do it. If it depends on the cereal, how much sugar it has. Here, it has a lot of sugar here, so maybe not. Because, the cereal in my family, no matter how long we store it, it's not going to last long. It'll probably last about 6 months to a year. We're not going to store it for 10 years, 5 to 10 years, 20 years. We don't store food that way. We don't store food for that long. Because we have a lot of stores. We live in an area in the city where there's a lot of stores, and we can keep replenishing. We can keep buying and storing and stuff like that. If you live far away from stores in your area, you live in an isolated place, then yes, you will have to think about how you're going to store it. So we don't use oxygen absorber too much for our food. However, if you're going to store cereal with sugars, I won't do it. I won't use the oxygen absorber. But if you're going to store sugar like Domino sugar and stuff like that, Domino sugar in the bag, then it's up to you. If you want to take a chance, But like I say, it's up to you. Okay. Now, I'm not going to give you false advice. I'm not going to tell you, oh, everybody in YouTube is storing sugar without oxygen absorber or with oxygen absorber. This is not trial and error. That's the best thing I can tell you. So take 2 bottles if you can and try them out with sugar. Take sugar, put it in one container, and put oxygen absorber. Take another and don't put one there, and just trial and error. That's the best way to do it. That's how I do it. You will be the tester. You will be the scientist. That's how I do it. Just try and error. How does that sound to you? Just make sure that the bottles are kept away from very damp areas, because sugar is very it's an enemy to dampness. All right. So it's up to you how you're going to do it. But you can store sugar. You can store beans, cereal, rice, dry beans, oatmeal. You can store grain, anything inside these containers. Okay? Now, you may want to use the oxygen absorber if you're storing other foods more than cereal for a long time. Okay? The reason why I'm saying you have to use the oxygen absorber because we're talking about sugar or no sugar. But right now, the topic is not other foods. It's a cereal. Because people complain that when they pour sugar into their bowls or cup and eat cereal, there's a dead fly, a dead roach, or a bug, or people have hair left in the cereal boxes, and they find hair in their foods, not their hair. Well, the best way to do that is to have these containers for your cereal, okay? Just wash them and everything, and air dry them, and stuff like that. That's all you gotta do, okay, for cereal. So the topic is not food, it's cereal. Food. No, it's food, but cereal. Label them. Now, if it's going to be long-term, then check the box of cereal before you pour it into the bottle, the plastic bottles, and write down on the label the expiration date, just to know that the box that the cereal came on had an expiration date. Now, if you want to keep it longer than that, you can. I see no reason why you cannot do it. But like I say, trial and error. Try and error. So I'm learning like you are how to do things. So, okay? Any comments you have that you want to give me or anything you want to teach me or show me or tell me, let me know. Okay? Some foods left in these containers, you have to watch out because sometimes you have to have a dark room. I have a storage room that has a curtain that makes and I have a small dim lamp because some foods you don't want the light, the ultraviolet light to hit the food sometimes too much, especially in the summertime, because they can damage the taste of the food or lessen the taste of the food. So you have to be careful when using these transparency plastic bottles or glass. All right. Okay. So there you go. All right. So trial and error. Okay. You have to be the tester. But you don't want bugs or cat hair or people's hair. You don't want to spill your cereal on the floor. You have to pick it up with a broom and put it in the trash. Well, this is the best way to do it. You seal it right here. Okay. Not too tightly where you strip it. Okay. The lid. And then you get a scissors and cut the label from the box of the cereal, and you tape it up or glue it on, or get yourself a label kit from a store and just put a label there. I just do this; it's faster because when you finish with the cereal box, it's finished. You just take the tape off, rewash the bottle and the top, air dry it again. Put a new cereal inside it and a new label, and you're set to go. You can carry it to your shelf every morning or every night, back to your shelf. Carry it with you to any room you want. You can pour it easily. Here also, these handles. You all seen these juice handles? Right here, let me see if I can find it. You have, let me see. Well, this you can just pour like this. This one here has a right here. This one here has it. This has a handle where you could put your hand to. Here it goes right here. You see it? It's an indent on both sides. An indent, and you can hold it like this, and you can pour the cereal like that. Okay. Carry it. Hawaiian Punch. And that's it. This one has one too, but I think I taped one. No, yeah, it has one here, but it has ridges. This has ridges, okay? And you can pour it on. Now, be careful with the lid that the lid doesn't get black. You might have to get a new lid. If you wash the lid that's black, like underneath the lid right here, the other side, the inside lid, that means it's a bacteria is getting into it. You can wash it and try it again, but if it keeps turning black inside the lid, then you're gonna have to use another lid, a new lid, or throw the whole bottle out and get a new bottle and lid. What I do, if the bottle is okay but the lid is no good, what I do, I always have a little bag in my room, and whenever we throw away a bottle that's no good, I take the lid and I store them. Different lids in a bag, all kinds, soda bottles, bottles for juices, you just name it. And I store the bottles, the caps and everything in a little bag. So if one of these lids gets to be black or bacterialized or whatever, I go to my room, look at the bag, and I try to look for another lid that goes on here. That's what I do. Same thing with bread ties. So I do the same thing with bread. I see when you storing is not only storing food, but storing lids, storing tapes, so you can attach your label with a tape on your container. So you should always store different lids away and bread ties and everything. You never know where you're going to use them. All right. So if you're looking for a way to prevent bugs, flies, hair, anything for getting to your cereal, use empty plastic bottles, all right? Okay, so have a good day, and that's my knowledge. Now, whether you're going to use oxygen absorbers or not is up to you, okay, for the sugary cereal, okay? Trial and error. Just take 2 bottles and each one, put one without with an oxygen absorber and one without, and just test it how long you can do it. If it's long term, if it's short term, I won't bother. Just leave it the way it is. All right. All right. Have a good day. Bye bye.